Anna Marie. It's good to see you. And I wanted to ask you, what did you have to share regarding your program and your workouts? Bearing in mind, we started a few months ago, which was the beginning of the summer, and now it's the beginning of fall. Would you like to share anything physical, tangible, emotional, spiritual, anything? Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I definitely would like to share because it's been an amazing process of improvement in my health and my strength and well-being on all those levels, physical, mental, of course, emotional, it's in there, and social, because I can get, down just like the stairs I need to get down to get out of my house to be social, So I guess I would start with the beginning that I had sciatica. I was suffering from sciatica for 5 or 6 weeks. It happened, it started about the second, after I got the second vaccine shot. So I'm assuming that there was a lot of changes in my body and it brought on the sciatica, but really that sciatica was related to very old injuries, plus vertebra from, maybe 60 years ago or 50 years ago. And, over the years, whatever, the weights and the damages and such. So I started the program, and it's something new for me. Like, you gave me daily drills a long time ago, right at the beginning, and I was like, daily drills, like whatever. But now, at this point, months later, I'm doing them every day, and it's like 10 or 15 minutes of mine each morning, or whenever I can get to it. If I don't get to it then, and especially like the interior hip rotation. That one is for those morning drills.
The hip internal rotation, when you're sitting, you put the block between your knees.
Yeah, because that strength of the groin area, the hips and the legs, and it really helps with that. So and then the thing I love to do is walk, and I talked to you about this. You asked me, well, what is your aim here? What's your goal? Yes, I wanted to be able to walk again, as I used to love to walk and just wander. And that was not possible for me. And now it is. Not only is it possible, but for decades after I had the accident. So I had a crushed vertebra in my lower back when I was in my 30s. It was a horrible accident, and trauma related to emotional stress and all that. So it's a lot of stuff to carry. But now these exercises mean that I can walk without pushing myself to walk through a lot of pain that I was always experiencing more and more as I aged. As that joints got older and less functional, there's arthritis in both sides of my family. I have to keep moving. That's just the reality. That's what the sciatica taught me after I, read about it online. Thank God for the World Wide Web. So, but I think like not only the bigger muscles, like my leg muscles, but my torso, I can feel how I'm standing more upright, how it's easier to stand upright, how my head doesn't feel like it's going to drag my body down.
My whole head?
Yeah, my whole head. Just doing those upper body exercises, feeling how it stretches out. Imagining I'm a huge bird stretching out my arms really helps. I mean, these kinds of imagery. I'm a writer. I'm full of imagination. You know what I mean? And I think that imagery definitely helps me. But doing the exercises helps. Trying to do the exercises as, I see them being taught on the small videos that you make. Very, very helpful, because I can mimic it with, the whatever the neuron things are that do that. Yeah. And I can read the language that you put on there. Find that very helpful. And just the idea of being consistent, and regular with the practice. And I can, so the strength, but I can feel how that makes my body better balanced. So walking, my strides are longer, my legs are actually moving from the hips. I'm not forcing my knees, which are damaged, to make the step. It's a huge change. It's a huge change on the physical and mental and emotional, these different levels. So I think Oh yeah, and then one of the main things, another of the main things is when I bend down to pick up something, or do reading in the garden or whatever, John was always bending from the waist, trying not to hurt my back, but and now we do a lot of squats, and I feel how my body will go into a squat much more easily, just like toddlers will go into a squat, you know. I like to watch toddlers because that's another
Baby squats.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's the whole thing I wanted to say. Thanks very much.
Well, one of the things I want to say is like give yourself a pat on the back. What you're talking about, for people who don't know, is like the benefits of strength training, and then that's paralleled with learning or relearning movement in all anatomical directions. And your open-mindedness and your willingness and your honesty during our sessions and between our sessions, because communication is huge. You know, I always follow up, and then you would let me know if you have any pain or discomfort. Is what brought us to where we are today. So, you know, when we first started, I asked if you are open-minded. One of the first, you said yes. So we started to learn exercises that we move sideways, you know, in a safe manner, of course. And then we did strength training. Now, if you remember, the body doesn't know what resistance is. So we use your body weight. We used the tube and the resistance band, you know, and we also did a lot of unilateral exercises to adjust the muscle imbalances. But if I remember correctly, you know, we have good days, better days, because the body was adjusting. And sometimes this is just, you're like an athlete. You have the idea that maybe more is better.
I feel like it actually.
Yeah. So then you'd be like, Julio, I feel like this. And I ask, hey, AnnaMarie, what did you do? Well, I did this, I hiked, I did, and I'm like, well, your body's adjusting. It's like for everybody. But what I'm getting at is that you put in the time, and the most important thing that I always wanted to say, it's about frequency, right? And even if you do 5 minutes of the daily drill, or, you know, every other day, the body starts to remember that, and your physiological adaptation, the strength you're feeling, the difference in your balance, that did not happen overnight. We feel good when we do it, but now a couple of months later, and you also learn you're more efficient with the movements.
Yes.
So sounds like what we are doing, as I promised, should and did transfer over to your daily activities.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I'm very grateful. Yeah.
Would you say you feel somewhat empowered through
I
physical
feel
activity?
totally empowered. Yeah, I feel totally empowered. Just getting up, and my test is, can I get downstairs and go see a friend and go out for coffee? You know, it's an old house. It's 2 flights of stairs. We're on the attic floor. It's a very narrow stairway. There's no handrail. It's very pitched, very steeply. And, you know, I was like afraid for my life. You know, I'd be stuck up here with a walker.
That's real talk. That's real talk. Yeah.
But that's not the case. And I can tell, you know, the bad days, like, it's good that you mentioned those. I tend to be, you know, the half glass half full kind of person constantly, but it's good to be reminded, because when the glass is half empty, when I'm feeling terrible and can't move, that is a terrible feeling of disempowerment, total disempowerment.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I would say empowerment is a powerful feeling.
Well, I want to just wrap it up by saying this. You know, not too long ago, you know, other than learning the moving sides, frontal plane, sagittal, and transverse, we started doing low to high wood chops. So that's the transfer of weight, the rotation of the hips. And you have a little history of Qigong, so we know that the hips are the center of gravity. So right now we're doing the one arm up, and I mean, we don't get any more advanced than that. And always safety is number one. But do you enjoy doing those kind of movements now?
I do. And when I was practicing this week, it felt, you know, smoother, felt more integrated in the muscles of the different, you know, arms, legs, you know, turning, all that, the balance, smoother. One side is stronger, not as strong as the other.
So I have good and bad news for you.
Yeah.
So the good news is that I'm very happy that you're feeling more confident and you're doing the daily drill, which I'm going to do a pop quiz on after this. The bad news, not really bad, is after we learn movement and I feel comfortable and you feel comfortable, that your form is good, you know, we have the pivot, transfer weight, we add resistance, or we add weight. Congratulations. Today you're going to graduate to another level of strength training because gravity right now is no longer challenging you and you have the movement. Are you up for it?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
All right. So thank you again for sharing your experience. You are an inspiration.
Best wishes to everybody. Yeah, who's willing to try it. Yeah, definitely.
Gracias. Okay.
De nada.
All right. Thank